you guys have a real specificity in this story that, suggests that you guys know not just these characters, but this story, like, very well. Like, what was sort of the origin point for you guys for this? And, like, I guess how relatable is it to you guys' experience? Is it, if in any way?
Yeah, the inspiration was pretty much two things. The first of which is the beginning scene with Trent asking Duncan what he thinks he is on a scale from 1 to 10. That whole sort of car scene actually happened to me when I was 14 with my stepfather at the time. We would spend our summers going up to Michigan from North Carolina, and that's the conversation we had our second year. So we pretty much started with that pain and said, let's have fun with this, and then make it a comedy. And the other thing was just water parks. I think that we both would go through the East Coast and had a fondness for spending our summers at respective water parks in our area. So those two things.
Well, I've interviewed Steve before, and, he's a real jerk.
Yeah.
What made you guys think of him for this role? Because there is, like, a really interesting sort of difference in his performance and sort of this character from ones that we've seen him play in the past.
Yeah.
I think, it was exciting for us to think of Steve playing against type, first of all. And second of all, I think, knowing that he's such a talented actor, we felt very confident that he could pull that off. And I think he also... He has an innate likability that was important for the role.
The character, yeah.
Because, you needed to know that Toni, why she was interested in him and why his friends like to party with him over the summer, And I think he also understood the tragic nature of the character, that this was a guy that was stuck in a vicious cycle. He sort of said that he wanted a family, he says he wants these things, but his actions don't reflect that. And so he doesn't really change, from A to B. He doesn't have this reaching arc that, where he learns his lesson at the end of the movie. And I think Steve got it, and he had the courage to play that. And I think a lot of actors may have been, maybe scared to do something like that because they want the lesson to be learned. And I think Steve appreciated that this is a little bit more
sort of stuck,
honest and
more real.
More identifiable in a way, because there are people that just that are stuck in a rut and they can't get out of it.
Sure. Well, how careful did you...
How dare you?
No, it's true. Face your own mirror.
Well, how careful did you guys have to be to sort of make sure that you could juggle both sort of the adult story and the kid's story, and then sort of further along what you were saying, like to have a satisfying finale that, or sort of like epiphany at the end for these characters that isn't like this sort of dramatic transformation, but it's sort of like this like minor spark of sort of self-awareness or recognition.
Yeah, I think the whole theme for us were just characters in sort of like a transition period. Like everyone, from Allison, from Betty to Trent to Pam to obviously Duncan to to Susanna. These are all people who are sort of feeding each other at the right moment, and some are choosing to go forward, Owen as well, and Caitlin. So I think that the idea was to balance that and not sort of have to push the agenda that we're going to give you complete closure, but rather this sort of this pivotal moment for each one of them. And so I think we always love the balance between comedy and drama and young and old, and making a true ensemble where they're really feeding each other as characters,